let's get to business with our first keynote. It's a real pleasure to welcome onto the stage Pratik Mutha from EY. Pratik, come and take your podium. And talking to us to kick off stage 2 this morning, the intelligent edge, unlocking value with cloud, AI and data synergy. Pratik, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning, all. Thank you for joining in person. And of course, thanks to everyone who joined online as well. I'm really excited to share my digital transformation experiences with you all, as well as sharing few things that could work, resonate with you all, and few challenges and pitfalls potentially you can face. Having said that, the digital transformation journey, of course, varies from organization to organization. So I hope that the few insights you take from this conversation help you to make your digital transformation more effective. Sorry, sorry for the technology, I'm just trying to map this. Okay, it's a bit slow, sorry for that. Sorry, just there is a discrepancy between this one and the board here. Please bear with us. Sorry for that. Okay, thank you. I have been privileged to have worked on and shaped up the digital transformation programs since 2017, and hence I will try my best to keep this to 20 minutes because I'm quite passionate about this topic. In my view, there are 3 pillars for digital transformation: cloud, data, and AI. If you look at from silos perspective, cloud, even if you do just cloud transformation, you will get certain benefits around scalability, having more control from OpEx to CapEx, from CapEx to OpEx perspective, having more fast transformation by leveraging cloud native services. If you do data transformation, you will get benefits like real-time data analytics, more data control on data governance, having enriched data collection and storage. And if the organization does artificial intelligence transformation, it means they have got capability around deep learning, machine learning, potentially now the current trend, which is agentic AI, and of course, leveraging large language models for GenAI purposes. But in my view, if we do digital transformation in silos, it's like renovating kitchen while doing dinner every day, with having cloud plumbers, data electricians, and AI decorators constantly challenging your blueprints. We all know how it works. My steer and suggestion to you all would be, if there is a synergy between all 3, you will get the best impact of all, because you will have more optimized solutions, you will have potentially cost-effective ones, and you will achieve the tangible outcomes in more fruitful way. Let me give you an example. I vividly recall my conversation with COO in 2022 around May time, and she faced certain challenges. She said that they had security and resiliency challenges for her on-prem data center. For example, even the Outlook, if there was outage, took hours and hours and they could not check emails. They had data issues. For example, the data reports were outdated. It was batch feed, a delay of 4 or 5 days, for example. And they had issues around legacy stack. Fast forward 2025. All of that stack is moved from technology landscape perspective, is moved on cloud. They have right foundations, be it from control standpoint and FinOps perspective. They have data platform which leverages those controls on cloud, which means they have real-time data analytics and all good things we have talked from data standpoint. And they have onboarded the LLM journey as well. The GenAI happened last year, and they could piggyback on the platform that they have. They have a private setup for LLM models, which the whole organization uses. and they are right now exploring the business cases to optimize the solutions from underwriting standpoint as well as claim standpoint so that they can use tangible business goals for driving LLM. I think this is a very good example of if few things done in right way can help you synergize cloud, data, and AI. I think we all know that for digital transformation, there are multiple business outcomes. And the slide here provides you the examples of that. And the size and scale for those outcomes obviously varies from organization to organization. For example, few organizations would like to have substantial improved productivity, where the current resources that they have, they would like to have more outcomes from it. They would like to reduce cost by not just optimizing the productivity, but for example, reducing potentially workforce or the resources that they have. They would like to focus on improved customer experience by having bespoke customer products, improving customer score, and so on and so forth. Likewise, certain organizations would like to focus on improving their top line, i.e. sales, by having different channels and exploring the top revenue model by different products. And then last not the least, having kind of differentiated products, because obviously we all know organizations are facing challenges from startups and fintechs, and then having micro differentiated products by leveraging analytics could be one of the aspects. Now, the benchmarks below on the slide that you see are outcomes from the survey. Now, I wouldn't run much into it, but the theme that stands out is that multiple organizations want to do these outcomes in tandem, as in they are not working, I'm just going to do one of the outcomes for digital transformation. There are multiple in play. So the essence of the story is organizations want to achieve multiple business outcomes, and in order to achieve that, you need to have a coherent approach for digital transformation. In order to achieve these outcomes, the typical digital transformation journey would consist of multiple facets. Now, I'm reasonably confident that most of you would be cognizant of this journey. For example, we start with the business case, we define the business goals, outcomes, and potentially the KPIs that will measure the success of these outcomes. Then we move to strategy, where we define the business, technology, and adoption strategy to make this happen. Then you move to execution mode, and then once you have executed by setting up the right foundations, you move to operationalizing it. The one point that I would like to highlight in this slide is the optimization phase. In my experience, very few organizations have focused on optimization after the digital transformation program is complete, which means that they have not been evergreen innovation. And in my view, that has been a stark difference between quite successful organizations and not so successful organizations. So my take would be that please focus on optimization, be it refining the architecture, having migrate then modernize approach, be it refining the controls and keep on looking at the levers that you could leverage, be it from FinOps perspective, and multiple ways. It could be modernizing the architecture as well, it could be removing legacy as well, but please focus on optimization. And obviously, I'm considerate of the limited time we have, and if we go on all the trends we are seeing from cloud, data, and digital perspective, it will be a while. So I'm just going to take few examples and just maybe cover one from cloud, one from data, and one from AI. So take for cloud, I'm seeing hybrid multi-cloud option leveraged by multiple organizations nowadays. Now, it comes with obviously opportunities and challenges. The opportunity is that you can have the right fit, right use case for different cloud based on the strengths of those cloud service providers. But at the same time, as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. What it means for organizations is they need to have that capability and the governance and the controls to leverage multiple clouds, and that is one of the challenges I have seen in the organizations to have multi-cloud support. If you take data as an example, the trend I'm seeing right now is that the data world is converging from friction to interoperability. Take Azure One Fabric as an example. It supports Iceberg, it supports Data Lake and Parquet and so on other formats as well, which means that if the organization has different formats or different frameworks, then you can leverage one service through and support different formats. You don't need to have that integration element and challenge which could have prohibited you before. So, and I think there are certain other themes that come in data world as well on this front. So my steer would be that focus on this interoperability aspect, try to refine your architecture so that you can leverage these services in better way and move forward. Collaborative AI. I think all of you must be aware of agentic AI and few other things, Gen AI, that is coming into play. Sometimes on a cheeky note, I say that our world is always ever changing, which is good and bad. The good part is there is always something happening in our digital world. The bad part is that you will have to always keep constantly learning on that. Now, in collaborative AI, I think there is a hype right now in terms of the things that it could do. But at the same time, I'm quite optimistic about it, in the sense that in the long run, we are definitely going to see significant AI integrations in our daily lives, which means that we have to, from challenge perspective, be aware of bias that is there currently in the inherent frameworks, the maturity of the framework. So for example, for agentic AI, you would see that the output is not predictable always. So it means that your architecture should be resilient enough. It should be more observable so that you can have fail-fast mechanisms to ensure that when you have multiple agents, you can scale it up. And then obviously there is an ethics angle. How you leverage AI in a predictable way so that the output is consistent and doesn't have any bias. As a last note, what I would like to focus on is the wide aspect of digital transformation. I have seen organizations undermine digital transformation as just a technology play. It is not. It does cover people, it does cover governance, it does cover process. And in fact, when I have spoken with multiple leaders across the board, one of the challenges or inhibiting factors for digital transformation has been people. For example, the capacity, the capability challenges, the culture that is inhibiting them to drive full steam in terms of digital transformation. And in my view, the problem is going to get compounded because, as I said before, the world is changing so soon, it's very difficult to take abreast of the changes and see what it means for the specific organization. So there has to be focus on learning, there has to be focus on education, and there has to be focus on ever-evolving and innovation aspect. The governance, risk, and compliance is one other thing that I've seen organizations pay less attention to. The risk and control frameworks, for example, are not always mature to take and adopt cloud, AI, and obviously there are change in regulations. So take AI Act as an example. The organizations need to be adhering to those compliance policies, and their risk and controls framework need to be uplifted for that. And there are certain processes, obviously, that needs to be automated in order to have that digital adoption in the best format possible. Now, we all have heard about DevSecOps, which means shift left of security and operations in the development phase, potentially. But when you adopt cloud, it should be DevSecFinOps. You have to have the financial operations aspect embedded into that as well. And maybe we could go one step further. You could have AI ops there as well, because effectively, when you use the large language models or machine learning models, the ML ops, i.e. machine learning operations, comes into fruition and very important. As I said, the important difference and the stark difference between the successful organizations and not so successful organization in coming age is going to be the approach towards digital transformation. It is how holistic they are going to look at it, how big or how substantial and foundational elements are implemented in the organization, and how they keep innovating. That comes to an end to my keynote, but before I open it to Q&A, I just would like to have a question for you all, and I'm sorry I don't have the centimeter for people online, but I would like to gauge the temperature in the room, because we are going to go into a world where it's going to be combination of bots and people. So maybe for show of hands, if there is a sensitive element, say for example, counseling, say you are going to accident and you need to speak with, for example, insurance claim, how many of you would be comfortable in speaking with bots? Maybe can you raise hands who would be comfortable in speaking with bots? All right, it would be fair to say majority of people still prefer speaking with human beings. And that is the challenge we would have as a society in coming age, right? How we have this hybrid approach and what we use for right cases being a bot as well as people, because it's not just a technology element, it's a people element as well. On that note, thank you for listening to me, and happy to answer any questions if you have.
Any questions in the room, first of all, at the moment? We've had a question come in online, Pratik, which picks up actually on the question that you've just posed to the people in the room, talking about whether we as humans are factored in enough. And thank you for asking the question online. And the question was, to what extent do you think that people, the staff, change management, learning, is actually underappreciated in digital transformation, that it's left behind by the drive for tech?
Yeah, it's a good question, and let me start with an anecdote, right, because that will highlight the challenges we have. So for this keynote, I was asked for headshot, right, by you all. So I had a very old headshot, and I was trying to use the LLM models to see that, if they could refine that. I posted it on LLM model, and they gave me a version. I was quite tempted to use it. It was a more handsome version of mine. and I thought that I could use it, but I thought that it would not be genuine. So the challenge we have in using the LLM models on, for example, agentic AI as well, that how much genuine it is and how we can differentiate in terms of the use cases where we could use the AI and where we cannot. From learning perspective, it means that we as a whole need to have ever engaging model for learning. Be it, my strong advice to you all would be learn about agentic AI, it's coming. Learn about the large language models. Learn about the co-pilot approach. It's basically definitely improving productivity. Having said that, as from my example, it's not for all use cases. You need to be sensible and intelligent enough when the outputs of those models are going to be not right. They have hallucination problems, they have bias problems, and they have problems where the models are underlying, maybe underlying is not the right word here. They are overconfident in predicting the outputs, which is not justifying to the reality. For example, the few stats that they gave to me about myself were not true. One of the LLM models, without revealing the names, thinks that I worked for Intel and Accenture. No disrespect to these organizations, but I haven't worked for them. But so as you can see that it's not just leveraging the output of these LLM models, but it's about how you review it, how you rationalize it, and how you use it in co-pilot mode to make things happen.
I did that with a particular AI model, and it told me I had a catastrophic crash in 2015, but I'm getting over it. Well, that was news to me and news to my doctor. But and I think one of the other facets of the question that was asked online is really about how bringing the people on within your organization during digital transformation, and a suspicion that a lot of companies are not paying enough attention or giving enough focus to bringing the staff of the organization along that journey, that it's tech, tech, tech. Do you see that? Is that a fair point to make?
I think it's a fair thing, and there is another element which people underappreciate. I think many of the people or many of the employees in the organization are worried about their jobs. They think that, will the AI take their job away? Which means that when you want to onboard people in this journey, you need to take that consideration as well.
Yeah.
How you uplift people's morale, how you make them more productive, and in fact, it should come from top. In fact, I'm not sure if you have seen the trends currently, but many organizations have started AI-first charters. You have seen the latest going from CEOs saying that we are going to embed AI day in, day out. If you are not leveraging AI, you are not going to be part of the organization. It's as simple as that.
And one other question which I wanted to pick up, right at the beginning you talked about the 3 pillars of digital transformation being cloud, AI and data. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it strikes me that data is the minefield here out of all of those. An expert I was talking to from a different company a few weeks ago, his suspicion is that most company data, a lot of companies' data, are simply not fit for purpose for the transformation to AI. Is that fair? What are the big challenges there?
Yeah, I think I would not like to generalize that every organization is facing the data challenge. What I've seen is multiple organizations are on different levels in terms of maturity. Having said that, if I have to call out certain themes from data challenges perspective, I have seen the data being siloed. For example, there are the data is not lineage, the lineage is not known, the formats and transformations are not right. Then there are challenges around the governance. Effectively, even when there are mid or reasonably mature organizations, the data governance is not uplifted to reflect the new use cases from data standpoint. Then there are other challenges in terms of the learning and culture that we obviously alluded to in the previous conversation, where people don't know that the platforms have been modernized, but how to leverage them. So it's basically having that 360-degree view in terms of having the right inputs, having right execution, and then having right culture to leverage those transformations and systems.
Thank you. That's all the questions from online. Any further questions in the room before we crowd? Just one question over there. Do we have a microphone, Amber, please? The gentleman right at the back. Fight past the water station. Thank you, sir.
Can you comment on how hybrid cloud will accelerate the adoption of AI?
Yeah. So just to reflect that if I understood correctly, typically few organizations would have hybrid cloud and not just public cloud, and how it could fast track adoption of AI. Yeah. A very good question. Thanks for that. I think, as we know, few of the organizations have gone for a hybrid approach, which means it's combination of on-prem plus public cloud, or either it's private cloud plus public cloud, which means that you get certain benefits of this approach. Take public cloud as an example. You have cloud native services, which you could leverage for LLM stuff, or be it for normal, machine learning ops as well. You have champion challenger machine learning models and other aspects that you could leverage. And then obviously you could have through private cloud, obviously not that complete 360-degree nature of services, but at the same time, you have certain automation that you could use, be it from DevSecOps ops perspective, ML ops, and so on and so forth. Long story short, I think the hybrid cloud definitely gives the organization accelerator in terms of driving this AI adoption, be it from the native services, be it from having that zero trust architecture through security, FinOps, and other foundational aspects. And then if you integrate it with private, you can have more, the bare minimum or bare commonality that can be leveraged for the private workloads instance, so that at least you have certain aspect going for private cloud and more multiple aspects for public cloud. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
And there, Pratik, we must leave it. Thank you very much for those insights. It's a brilliant way to kick off stage 2. So Pratik, Mutha, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all.